Hi, my name is Dr. Myava Clark, and I am your parent empowerment and child safety advocate. I help parents and caregivers of neurodivergent children by providing emotional support and practical tools without burning out, while they guide their children toward meaningful friendships where they are truly celebrated for who they are and not just tolerated, all while protecting them against being bullied. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about understanding and supporting children with intellectual differences. Sometimes you can feel really alone on this journey, but you don't have to be alone. You can choose to go through life with support. I am here to help you. I am here to support you along your journey. So, what are intellectual learning differences? It's the way the brain learns differently. A child with intellectual differences is able to learn, but they may need some supports. So, they may need more time, more repetition, and clear structure. This is neurological and it's not behavioral. So sometimes you may feel like your child is being lazy, and it may not be them being lazy as much as it is their brain needs some support. Now, and this is something that I struggled with when my son was coming up, um, because where I made the mistake, I treated him the way that I thought and how I responded to things. So if I asked him to do something and he didn't do it, it felt like he was being defiant, or he was trying to get out of it, or he just absolutely didn't want to do it. I wish that I had known then what I know now, and that was to approach it differently, because I understand now, and it wasn't that he was being lazy. His brain processed differently, and in real time, I didn't always meet that need. I didn't always understand that, and I would repeat it or get angry or respond that was probably not the right way. And that's why I want to present to you. So hopefully you don't make some of the mistakes that I did, and hopefully you learn how to approach and navigate the situation differently while you're in real time with your children. So some of the things that you may notice is, um, you may say brush your teeth over and over and over again, and like, why aren't you brushing your teeth? Or wash your face, get dressed. You may find yourself repeating yourself over and over again, and it may get exhausting day after day, asking the same things. Or eat your breakfast, sit down, some of these things. Now, one thing you can try, if that is a situation that you're in, one thing you can try is have a, chart, have a visual chart where it's on display. It could be in the bathroom, it can be in their room, and as they do certain tasks, then have them mark it off that it was completed. And it can be a game, it could be an incentive for them. Sometimes, if you tell them something, perhaps they're not computing it the way that you're saying it, and that you think they should be receiving it because the way their brain processes. So if they have this visual chart, and it may be make your bed, eat breakfast, brush your teeth, wash your face, get dressed, comb your hair, and maybe put on your shoes. and whatever other task that you ask them to complete and they don't do it in a timely fashion or they seem resistant to, that can be on this chart. And then as they accomplish it, then they can put a little check mark. And then if there you one thing you can do is negotiate with them. You can sit down together and say, we're going to do this chart. If you do 4 out of the 7 things, you'll get a sticker. If you do 5 out of the 7 things, you'll get something else or whatever. And then, but instead of the sticker, negotiate with them. What do they want? What would make them happy if they accomplished it? And that way they'll have more buy-in, because maybe perhaps what you think it's worth won't be an incentive for them. And asking them and negotiating with them what the reward will be at the end of the week. So you can have a daily reward and you can have a weekly reward, and then you can have a monthly reward and have it on a different scale. So daily could be a sticker. And then at the end of the week, if they have so many stickers, maybe they'll get ice cream or whatever treat they want. Or if it's a little boy and he's into Hot Wheels cars, maybe at the end of the week, I'll buy you a car, a little Hot Wheels car, or whatever it is that you negotiate. And then if they get a Hot Wheels car 3 out of the 4 weeks, maybe you'll take them to the movie or something at the end of the month. Like, so the incentive could grow, but again, it has to be something that they want to do so they'll have buy-in and want to do it. The other thing that you could do is set a timer. Now, a timer might be good for some kids, and a timer might be a trigger for other kids. Only you know your child, only you know what would work for them and what would be a trigger or not. I don't know. It's just a possible solution or suggestion. So if they're in the bathroom and they play around and take too long getting in the shower or taking a bath, or they're just messing around, what you could do is set a timer and say, if you beat the timer, you'll get this. If you beat the timer, you'll get that. And again, this is something that you can negotiate, and it's not going to work for every child, but it could work for your child. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. If you're at your wit's end and you don't know what else to try, like maybe you could try some of these things and maybe they'll work. Now, some key points for a timer. If um, you're telling them something and they forget what to do, or like I said, they're procrastinating or something, the timer could help. If they and if they are having um trouble with multi steps, then you want to break it down. For example, if you were to say, if you and your child are upstairs and you would say, um, could you go downstairs, go in the refrigerator, bring me a bottle of water, and also get me a paper towel. That may be too much. Now, you can have two children, one with intellectual differences and one without. The one without, perhaps you say that and it's not a problem. They go, they do all the things, they bring it back. Here's your bottle of water and here's your paper towel. Yeah, all is well. Your child with intellectual differences may not be able to do that. They may get downstairs, feel completely overwhelmed, overloaded, and come back upstairs without anything because they forgot what you asked them to do. So in a case like that, I recommend that you break things up and you do one step task or maybe no more than two, depending on your child, and see how that works. See if they can handle one to two steps, and then eventually maybe you'll be able to add on. And if not, make sure you just ask within their limits, within what they can handle, within what they can do, so they can feel successful, and so you don't get frustrated. Um, so again, if they need frequent reminders to do something, evaluate whether it's because you're asking too many things at once, or, you know, or if there's another way to go about it with the incentives and different things. So, I encourage you to try to work on that to prevent both of you from being frustrated and overwhelmed. Sometimes when they forget, um they may be forgetful. I know I've experienced that with my son. Like I said, did you do something, or take out the trash? Don't forget to take out the trash. Okay, mom, I'll take out the trash. I come back, trash not taken out. Why didn't you take out the trash? I told you to take out the trash. Honestly, that just frustrated me. That didn't serve him, and the trash still wasn't taken out. So sometimes they do need reminders, and try to find a way to give the reminders without blowing up and the both of you becoming frustrated and it doesn't solve anything. So with intellectual differences, the work and memory can be impacted. It can be affected. And so we have to be cognizant of the fact that there may be something else going on. Verbal instructions sometimes disappear quickly, and there that chart could be of assistance. Maybe you have a chart and say the things that you want done. It could be on the chart. If and hang it. Maybe for my case, perhaps this would have been a better solution than me just saying, take out the trash. Maybe I could have had a picture of the trash can where it's full above the trash can, and say, this is when you take it out. So if they go to throw something out and see that picture, then it's like, oh, okay, that's what this looks like now. Maybe I should just take out the trash. And perhaps that would have been easier for me and my son had I known that in real time. Repetition builds pathways and not dependence. So sometimes when we repeat ourselves and we give stages to do it, it can build a pathway to them having a system and being able to implement that system. Whereas if you don't do that, you may not do it because you think, oh, they're going to be dependent on this and they're not going to get it done. And that is not the best way to approach it. We have to build them up. We have to build their skills and their confidence in that skill. So patterns you can look for over time, um, to see what you need to do. You want to look for consistent forgetfulness across settings. So are they always forgetful, or is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it at night before they go to bed, or is it all the time? That may make a difference. Like, what is it? Is it situational, or is it a frequent occurrence across the board? Um, if they're getting frequently frustrated when you ask them to do something, or you look out for that, are they frequently frustrated? Or when you ask them to do something, are they avoiding you? Is it avoidance? Is it frustration? Like, look for these patterns. Do they have anxiety around school or certain tasks? Is there a pattern? So if they're having anxiety around school, is it because someone's picking on them? Is it because something's going on and they haven't expressed it to you, but it may be something that you have to further investigate. And if it's around certain tasks, what are the tasks that you are noticing this frustration or avoidance around? Just start paying attention. Is there something more to it that you can decipher, that you can address and build them up differently? So, again, I told you to reduce stress could be the um, the visual things that from the chart that could help your checklist, the pictures. You could have um, index cards with step-by-step instructions to help them with a particular task. You can have, again, the timers and the routine little charts. Use visual aids whenever appropriate, whenever possible. And just because one might not work, try another one. We don't know what's going to be the thing that connects, but one thing I do believe is if you bring them in and you talk to them and you present options to them, what do you think could work? Or what do you think you want to try? What do you want to try first? And guess what? Sometimes if you say, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? They feel like they're in control because they have a choice. So sometimes choices matter. And if you're a parent and don't want to give your child a choice, that might not be the smartest, safest thing in that moment. But if you give the choices, you're still in control because it's this or that as opposed to what do you want to do. So you let them pick. So yes, they do have some control, but you have the ultimate control because you gave the options. So I that's something else you could do. You always want to communicate in a clear, calm, and compassionate tone. Sometimes it's easy. If you've worked all day, if you had a challenging day at work and all you want to do is come home, rest, have peace of mind, drink a cup of hot tea, kick your feet up, watch TV, decompress, and now your child's having a meltdown or your child is not listening, your child didn't do what you wanted them to do. It's easy to lose control in that environment. It's easy to become frustrated. It's easy to lash out. It's more challenging for you to gain control over yourself and your emotions in that time. Depending on the age of your child, depending on whether you have someone at home who can support you and give you a break or not, may change how you respond and you react. One of the things that I used to do that worked out really, really well for me is when I found myself in those moments that I just described, I would put myself on timeout and I would say, Mommy needs a timeout. It's not you, it's me. And um, depending on the age of your child, determines how you process and you do that. But when I remember feeling that way, and my children were old enough that they could be in a room for a little bit by themselves, and I would go in my room and shut the door for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, decompress, rest, and then that 10 or 15 minutes rejuvenated me. It allowed me to be able to connect and be a better version of me when I came back. And we all won from that. And how did I know that I needed a timeout? Sometimes the best indicator for me was if my children did something that aggravated me or annoyed me, and I thought about it, and any other day it wouldn't bother me, then I knew it wasn't them and it wasn't the act, it was me. And I needed a reset because for whatever reason, emotionally, I was out of sorts and I needed to realign myself. And sometimes, like I said, that realignment was just taking a break. And then other times it was taking deep breaths. So I would breathe in for a 4 count, hold for a 4 count, breathe out for a 4 count, pause, and do that cycle over again for anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths. And what that would do is regulate my nervous system and realign me back, and then I'm good and I can move forward. So try that if you find yourself being rattled a little bit. So you want to keep a clear, calm, compassionate tone with them. You want to do one instruction at a time, no more than two if they can't handle multi-steps. You want to pair words with visuals. And another trick or tip is when you give an instruction to your child, ask your child to repeat the instruction. And that playback could be really helpful with them remembering, and use encouraging language. I know you can do it. You're good. This is something you're good at. I'm so proud of you when you do this. When you accomplish that, it makes me feel so proud of you. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like you could do anything. Just that uh, um you don't want to say things like you never remember. Ah, you just never get it right. You never remember. And then instead of saying you don't remember, you could say, why don't we look at your checklist? Let's look at it together and see what they didn't check off and say, do you notice you didn't check this off today? So make sure you look at your checklist to see that you're accomplishing what you set out to do. And confidence matters more than speed. Again, confidence matters more than speed. Um, Especially, sometimes children don't realize that they're different. And if they have repeated failure, it can hurt their self-esteem. Um, you want to celebrate effort and not perfection. So when you see that they have tried their best, cheer for that, to encourage them to keep trying their best and to keep improving, um, even when they don't get it perfectly right. And one of the things that I think is important that we may miss is you want to normalize asking for help so they don't feel like a failure for not getting it right, and yet they don't ask for help. Because I'm telling you that it used to frustrate me if my kids, and particularly it was my son that did this, if he spilled something and couldn't get it up and he run out of the room or something and it's still there, I tell him ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Like, it just doesn't make it go away, so it doesn't help anything. So I'd rather you come and ask me for help instead of me um stumbling across it and finding it, because I'm going to be more upset if I find it than if you come and tell me and ask me to help you clean it up. And one of the things you want to pay attention to is what your child does really, really well. And you want to celebrate them for that, highlight it, encourage them to continue on instead of, I think it's natural for us to point out the bad or the things that aren't done correctly because we want them to self-correct and we want them to get it right and to be better at it. And but it may be that they need more encouragement of what they did do right before you bring up what they didn't. To kind of build them up, boost them up so they don't think that, do I ever do anything right? Do I ever get it right? Am I ever going to be good enough? Is it me? And if they hear that in school, they hear it at home, where do they get a break? Where do they get to be built up? And as our jobs as parents and caregivers, it's our responsibility to make sure that they get it and we build them up. And something else, it's important to let them know they don't have to figure it out alone. You're here to help. Just like I'm telling you, you don't have to be alone on this journey by yourself, that I'm here to support you and walk with you. You should do the same thing for your child and assure them that they don't have to figure it out by themselves. And it's one of the things you can do is you can look at some resources to help you get some suggestions to what you should do to help the situation with your child. There are things out there. And as I wrap up, I want you to know that your child brain isn't broken. It just thinks different. And you want to support them in their challenges and whatever way you can to help them get to the next level and celebrate small wins. Don't just look for the big ones. You want to build tools that are going to build their confidence. If you need help building their confidence, please reach out to me. I have some programs and things that will do just that. One of the things that my son and I came up with is called Casen Connect. That's CASENConnect.com. You can find out about it. It's a 5-week course that bridges the gap between education and social media. We designed it to be a precursor to regular social media where we build the children up and we teach them what bullying is, how to identify it. We teach them to determine whether they're being bullied, if they're witnessing bullying, or if they are, in fact, the bully. We also teach them how to report it. We teach them how to use social media appropriately. And we teach them about their digital footprint. A digital footprint is like a footprint in the sand. And everything you do online leaves a footprint in the sand, only digitally. So we teach them, don't think just because you use Snapchat and it disappears that it's not retrievable. Because if the other child takes a screenshot, it's there forever. Or, some things can be retrieved on the internet. So we want to prepare our children to be safe. Then we want to prepare them and teach them about um, communicating with people through video games that they don't know and how they pose. Sometimes it's adults that pose as children and they victimize our children. Um, we don't want that, so we want to prepare them for that. And also the new group they're calling Modern Day Terrorism 764, we want to prepare them against those groups. So if you need help, if you need support preparing your children for social media, we have it where we can help children from 6 to 8. We have a group, and we have a group for children 9 to 13. You know the maturity level of your child, you know what they can handle, and we work that out together. And we want to build them up before they ever go on social media so we don't have to worry about them being prey for people. And it's much better to build skills around social media than it is to build rules. If you build rules, they may or may not tell you what's going on because they are afraid of losing their devices or their cell phone, tablet, right? But if you build skills, then you can trust them to make the right decisions even when you're not around. So I encourage you to build skills even before they go on social media so they'll know how to be prepared when they get there. I hope you got something out of this. And again, my name is Dr. Myava Clark. I am your parent empowerment and child safety advocate. I help parents and caregivers of neurodivergent children by providing emotional support and practical tools without burning out, while you guide your children toward meaningful friendships, all while protecting them from being bullied, especially being bullied online. Thank you, and until the next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.